Welcome to the Redefine Podcast. Okay, happy podcast day. Happy podcast day to you. Welcome to the show if you're brand new. And of course, if you are an existing listener and or viewer, welcome back. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so today we are going to conclude our conversation on living in alignment, or at least in more alignment than we may have been. We started the conversation off in part one by talking about the 5 things, right? Making a list of 5 things that you love, that really, really excite you and that you want more of in your life. In part 2, we talked about trusting your gut and really reconnecting with that part of our capability, right? Reconnecting with that facility that we all have and that we may have kind of learned to mute and temper down and maybe even turn off in replacement of logic and rationale. Now, logic and rationale, of course, are all well and good, but they're just a small part of what we're capable of, a small part of the capability of our beautiful human minds. The next piece of the equation then is to simply take steps, right? Start taking steps towards the things you want more of in your life. Now, depending on your level of risk tolerance, this will determine the size, quote unquote, of the steps that you take, especially early on. Now, if you're like me and you have a high tolerance for risk, then I say go for it. Responsibly, of course. I don't want you to, risk your own well-being and your safety, especially your financial well-being, especially, of course, if you are responsible for other people. But if you can take these risks responsibly, and safely, then I say, yeah, just go for it. Take the shot. Now, most other people don't generally have that high of a risk tolerance. And so you're just going to want to take baby steps. I think as a society, we've gotten used to the routine. We've gotten used to relying on the systems that are in place to help us, provide predictability and therefore safety and security. And so doing new things is going to be out of the norm, right? It's going to be scary. So it's important to take it slow as you ease into taking more risks. The main point is just take those first steps, right? No matter how small those steps might be. What we can tend to do, if we don't talk ourselves out of it in the first place, is delay ever taking those first steps by convincing ourselves that we have to have it all figured out. Yes, it's important to have a plan, especially the more complicated and risky that particular step might be, or the particular path might be. However, that is completely different than thinking that you have to have it all figured out before even starting your journey. The risk to thinking that you have to have it all figured out and working to actually try to figure it all out is getting too married to one particular path, right? To one particular plan. In doing so, we pigeonhole ourselves and we limit other possibilities that potentially open themselves up to us along the journey. Not to mention that it's actually not possible to have it all figured out. Life doesn't come with a GPS that tells us exactly how to get from point A to point B. All we have in this scenario is where we are and where we want to go and the next step immediately in front of us. Beyond that, we have no idea what possibilities might potentially open up. And so all we can do is take that next step and then that next step after that. Now, you might be at a place where there are multiple avenues and multiple paths in front of you that you have to choose from. This is where your gut and your instinct comes into play because logically and rationally, all the different forks in the road and the turns that you can take might all seem to make sense. So you're going to have to rely on that gut feeling to tell you or to choose which path to actually take on that next step. If you do this, if you learn to really trust that gut feeling and take those steps towards the things that give you that nervous and excited feeling, what you'll find is that more paths of discovery open up for you to explore. Turns and forks in the road that you could never have accounted for sitting in your bedroom thinking that you had to have it all figured out. Really, it's just a continual recalibration. And in essence, what this does is it keeps us in constant pursuit. And that's what it's all about. A sense of alignment doesn't come from attainment of a thing or the arrival at a destination. It comes from the aliveness that you feel in pursuit of something, the aliveness that you feel in exploration and in continual discovery. So yes, have a plan. Our logical and rational brains need that structure, but also be willing to recalibrate and explore. Listen and trust your gut if it's telling you to go a certain way. And in doing this, you'll find yourself in more alignment. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. I encourage you to go back and re-listen to these 3 episodes together, especially. And if you have any more questions, of course, reach out. You can leave a comment in the comment section below of the YouTube version, or you can click that link in the podcast version that says "Send me a text." I get those messages and I can respond either on a future episode or I can message you directly. And if we haven't connected yet on Blue Sky, come connect with me on Blue Sky. That's my primary social right now, and that's a great way to interact with me and ask questions about any of the things that we talk about here on the show. Beyond that, if you're not already following, please follow the show. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube version, hit that subscribe button and share it. If you found value in today's episode, chances are somebody else will. So please go ahead and hit that share button. It takes 3 to 5 seconds, and you can send it to somebody who might need these perspectives. And yeah, well, that's going to do it for this week. I appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you next week with a fresh new one. So until then, be well, be safe. We'll see you in the next episode.